What's up, everybody? Nick Fiore, Fiore Station YouTube channel, right here on YouTube.com. I know it's a week late, and I know it's 45 minutes until tonight's AEW Dynamite and NXT, but wanted to get this in from last week, last Wednesday, AEW Dynamite and NXT from last week, the review video. This review video for that, and I'm just gonna do for this video AEW Dynamite and NXT reviewing from NXT and Dynamite from a week ago. And usually I do the one video for NXT, NXT UK, and Dynamite and stuff with videos here in the channel. For videos right here in the channel, usually I do that, but NXT UK, I'll be pre-recording. That won't be live. So that's that. So I thought I'd make that real quick, and we'll just dive in right into from last week's NXT and AEW Dynamite. We'll start with NXT first. We had NXT open up with Dakota Kai. NXT last week. It opens up with NXT last week. Show opens up with Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez versus Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez versus Io Shirai and Zoe Stark in a women's tag team match to open the show. It's a good match here. We had Dakota Kai with a double stomp on Zoe Stark. We had Shirai tagging and working over Kai. Shirai with their double knee strikes in the corner. Kai and Shirai are trading pin attempts with each other. Running uppercut from Zoe Stark as well. Gonzalez and Kai then hit the rocket launcher go to kick for a near fall, which looked nice. We had Shirai and Stark both landing drop kicks on both of them onto Raquel Gonzalez. Gonzalez falls to the outside of the ring. Stark then lands a dive on Gonzalez. Kai then tries to sneak in a kick, but Kai avoids it and launches her into the ring post. Zoe Stark goes for a 450. She misses it. Gonzalez counters Stark's running knee with a power bomb. Gonzalez picks up Stark for another power bomb. Shirai gets on the apron, but Gonzalez boots her off as she still has Stark suspended up in the air. Gonzalez hits her one-arm powerbomb on Zoe Stark for the win. And Dakota and Raquel win this matchup. And after this match, we get Shirai and Gonzalez getting in each other's faces with a little stare down. Kai then tries to sneak in and attack Shirai from behind, but Shirai turns attention to Dakota, and then Raquel clubs Io from behind. Gonzalez powerbombs Io on the announce desk, but the table doesn't break. Io looks down and out. And Raquel looks down at Io. And then that is that. A good women's tag team match, and all these four ladies look good in defeat. It made sense for Raquel and Dakota to win because now Io wasn't pinned. Now the champion Io was not pinned clean here, thank goodness. And Dakota Kai being pinned here would have been silly. Same thing with Raquel. And I think Raquel and Dakota, them winning was the right move. And Zoe Stark, and Zoe Stark has been impressive as of late. Zoe Stark is slowly starting to grow on me. And in this tag match, Zoe Stark looked good and she hit the pin here. And I don't think she's really bad by any means. She looked good in a loss. And this is a good women's tag match. All four ladies look good in defeat. And this is a good tag team match to open the show. Raquel is your next NXT Women's Champion, in my opinion. I think that's what's going to happen for Takeover Stand and Deliver. I truly believe it. But I'll talk more about that with my Takeover Stand and Deliver preview predictions for next week. Let me go backstage with Kyle O'Reilly arriving at the arena. He gets flanked by security. Roderick Strongman walks in and says they need to kick Adam Cole's ass tonight for what he has done to both of them. O'Reilly It says there is no us. Strong then pauses and tells O'Reilly that he can go to hell and so can Cole. And that was that. And then we get the next match, Bronson Reed versus LA Knight. We had Bronson Reed versus LA Knight. This was not too bad of a match. We had Knight surprising Reed with a slingshot shoulder block. Knight starts to work over Reed. Knight hits a neck breaker. Reed runs over Knight. Reed hits a corkscrew choke slam. Bronson Reed goes up top. LA Knight cuts him off. Bronson Reed then hits his tsunami frog splash off the top for the win. Bronson Reed defeats LA Knight. Not too bad of a matcher, but my God, I would not want to be on the receiving end whatsoever of a Bronson Reed frog splash, man. Holy shit. Holy shit, man. The Bronson Reed tsunami frog splash. You couldn't even pay me you could not even pay me, dude, to take a frog splash there from Bronson Reed, man. Bronson Reed's frog splash, absolutely devastating, man. Absolutely devastating, man. But I was shocked that LA Knight didn't win here. I thought he'd win, which I was very surprised by. I didn't expect Bronson Reed to win. I did not expect Bronson Reed to win this match whatsoever. So I was shocked that Bronson Reed, my apologies. Bronson Reed, I was surprised that he went over here over LA Knight right here. But perhaps Bronson Reed has more upside than LA Knight. Bronson Reed maybe, but I fully expected LA Knight to win here, since it's only had a few matches so far now in NXT. LA Knight, but surprised that Bronson Reed actually won here. But we'll see what happens with LA Knight going forward. Not bad of a match. LA Knight's not that bad in the ring. LA Knight is way better than like the Great Khali and Jinder Mahal, but LA Knight NXT, that's his ceiling. Monday main roster, he'll be buried just like EC3, and I don't want to see that happen. LA Knight's not bad of LA Knight is not that bad in the ring. He's not, but NXT, that's LA Knight's ceiling, and LA Knight, and the LA Knight name, I'm still not grown on. Still not grown on it, but we'll see what happens with LA. But we'll see what happens with LA Knight going forward. And then we get an announcement with Danny Burch getting injured in the previous NXT main event tag team match for the NXT tag team titles with Karrion Kross and Finn Balor versus Lorcan and Burch, which didn't make sense, but in the end maybe. But in the beginning it didn't make sense. And in that tag title match, Danny Burch injured his shoulder, which sucks. He's going to be out for a while, and they confirmed it last week with Danny Burch's injury. He has an injured shoulder. He's going to be out for a while. And because of that, the NXT tag team titles are now vacated. And William Regal announced that. And then Regal announced for TakeOver Stand and Deliver, it's going to be MSK versus the Grizzled Young Veterans versus Legado del Fantasma, and a triple threat tag team match for the vacant NXT tag team titles. So, and this is on night, and for TakeOver Stand and Deliver, it's on night one as well. Triple threat tag team match for the vacant NXT tag team titles. Grizzled Young Veterans versus MSK versus Legado del Fantasma. Should be a very good match. I'm looking forward to it. Now, MSK, I know they're red hot right now, but I think if you want them to be even more of a babyface team, you know, that underdog babyface team, if you want them to be even more over, and this is just my opinion, let me know what you guys think. At TakeOver Stand and Deliver, honestly, with the NXT tag team titles being now vacant, with TakeOver Stand and Delivered, with the NXT tag team titles, I would honestly give them to the Grizzled Young Veterans, man. That's what I would do, and then have MSK chase them, with MSK eventually win the NXT Tag Team Championship. That's what I would do, but they'll let me know what you guys think on that. But if MSK wins, I would not mind at all, because MSK is MSK is just so red hot right now. And I mean, I would give it to the Grizzled Young Veterans to have MSK chase, but to have them maybe get them over. But you can't deny the fact, though, that MSK has just been on fire since they debuted in NXT earlier this year. MSK with the Dusty Classic this year for the men. But that's just my opinion on all that. But if MSK ends up winning, man, I will not be upset with that at all. If MSK wins, you will not hear one single complaint out of me. You won't. MSK wins, I am totally okay with it. Should be a good match at Takeover for the vacant NXT Tag Team Championships. And then we get the next match of the night. Karrion Kross with Scarlett versus Oney Lorcan. This was a squash. Well, not really a squash, because Oney Lorcan got some offense. Lorcan was attacking Kross as soon as the bell rung. Kross tossed Lorcan into the corner. Both men trade shots. Kross sends Lorcan into the barricade. Lorcan tries a suplex, but Kross reverses it into a suplex of his own. Kross sends Lorcan back in the ring. Lorcan lights Kross up with a nasty knife-edge chop. Drop kick by Oney Lorcan. Lorcan then lands a running uppercut in the corner. Kross flooring Lorcan with a big boot. Kross obliterates Lorcan with a Doomsday Sato suplex. Karrion Kross. Kross then blasts Lorcan with an elbow strike to the back of the head. Lorcan's out. Kross pins Lorcan, and Karrion Kross defeats Oney Lorcan. And this little match, not a complete squash. Lorcan got some offense, but Karrion Kross was always going to go over, and Kross won it. And Kross going over Lorcan was the right move. So that I will say. Then after the match, Karrion Kross grabs a microphone and he says he's going to destroy Finn Balor at Takeover Stand and Deliver in the main event of night 2. Balor then walks down to the ring, and Balor stands over Lorcan, who's laid out on the rampway. Balor then steps over Lorcan, and then Balor says that Kross showed him his weakness last week. Balor didn't become who he is today until he cut off his emotions. Kross still fights with emotion. That makes Kross vulnerable. Balor says he is going to push Kross to the brink. Balor thinks that at Takeover, Kross's emotions will get the better of him. Balor is going to drag Kross into the deep water and drown him with no emotion. And Finn Balor in this promo also teased the word demon. So, do we see the Demon King at Takeover Stand and Deliver against Karrion Kross? I don't know. It's going to be very interesting, but I will say this. Very good promo between these two guys, Finn Balor and Karrion Kross right here. Very good promo, in my opinion. And all that in my honest opinion. But with Takeover Stand and Deliver, if Finn Balor comes out as a demon, I'm having Balor go over Kross. But if Balor's regular Balor against Kross, then Kross goes over. That I will say. But good promo stuff here. But good promo stuff right here with Finn Balor and Karrion Kross. And then we get William Regal announcing that there will be a battle royal that will lead to a 12-man battle royal that will lead to a gauntlet eliminator match, with the winner getting a shot at Johnny Gargano's North American Championship at Takeover Stand and Deliver. So they announced another match, one of the matches for night 1 for Takeover Stand and Deliver 2-night event. Takeover Stand and Deliver night 1. One of the matches for Takeover Stand and Deliver night 1. A 6-man gauntlet eliminator match. 6-man gauntlet eliminator match, with the winner getting Johnny Gargano won the North American Championship at Takeover Stand and Deliver night number 2. And they announced for the next week a 12-man over-the-top battle royal, and the remaining 6 men advance to the Gauntlet Eliminator match at Takeover Stand and Deliver night number 1 at Takeover. So Regal announces that. I expect Dexter Lumis to survive the battle royal. I expect Dexter Lumis to win the Gauntlet Eliminator at night 1 Takeover Stand and Deliver. And I expect Dexter Lumis to become the new NXT North American Champion at Takeover Stand and Deliver night number 2. That's my take on all of that. Let me know what you guys think on that. And then we get the next part of the show. Walter with Imperium versus Drake Maverick. This was legit 10 seconds. Walter powerbombs Maverick. Maverick's not moving. Walter with a single like Boston Crab. Maverick didn't even tap. Maverick was just not moving. And Walter beats Drake Maverick in like legitimately 10 seconds, man. 10 seconds. 10 seconds, Walter defeats Drake Maverick easily. Powerbomb, single like Boston Crab, done. Legit squash. Then Tommaso Ciampa walks down to the ring. Ciampa said a few weeks ago that he was intrigued by Walter, but what he really meant was he was intrigued by the NXT UK Championship. Ciampa says he wants a title shot at the NXT UK Championship. Walter tries to walk away, but Ciampa chops him. Fabian Aichner and Marcel Bartel then beat down Ciampa. Walter then rips the necklace. Off of Ciampa like nothing. And then Walter chops Ciampa, which looked absolutely brutal. You could hear that Walter chop, man. You couldn't even pay me either. You could not even pay me either to take a Walter chop either. Holy shit. What a chop from Walter onto Ciampa from NXT last week. What a fucking chop. And then after this, they made official for another match for Takeover Stand and Deliver night number 1. They made another official match for night 1. Takeover Stand and Deliver for night 1 also. NXT UK Championship, Walter versus Tommaso Ciampa. So that was that. Ciampa's done nothing to earn a shot at Walter in the NXT UK Championship. Ciampa's done nothing to earn it, but Tommaso Ciampa and Walter, man, take my money. That is Takeover. Ciampa versus Walter, I like that. That should be a very good match at Takeover Stand and Deliver night 1. Probably the top match I'm looking forward to, in my honest opinion, for Takeover Stand and Deliver night number 1. And the Takeover Stand and Deliver card for both nights looking really, really stacked. It's looking like a really good, solid card, I will say. It looks good, and looking forward to Takeover. And I'm looking forward to Ciampa and Walter. Should be very good. And then we go backstage with Robert Stone and Aaliyah. They pay Mercedes Martinez to be her partner for tonight. Mercedes says she will take this stack, but Stone has to give her another after the match. Stone agrees. Aaliyah's then elated to have a new partner. And then we get the next match on the show from NXT last week. NXT Women's Tag Team Championship match. Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart versus Aaliyah and Mercedes Martinez with Robert Stone. Not too bad of a match here, but Moon and Blackheart, but Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon retain. After Ember Moon drops Aaliyah with the Eclipse for the win. Winners and still the NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart. Not too bad of a match, but Ember and Shotzi fully expected them to retain and win here, and that's exactly what happened. And then we go backstage with Cameron Grimes trying to get Roderick Strong to sell him the Undisputed Era IP. Roddy then decks Cameron Grimes. Good old Cameron Grimes going straight to the moon. Had to do it, man. Had to do it. And then we get the next match, Jordan Devlin versus Kushida. This was probably the best match of NXT last week. This was really good right here with Jordan Devlin and Kushida. Uranagi suplex from Jordan Devlin, slingshot cutter from Jordan Devlin, which looked beautiful. It's probably my favorite, probably one of the good spots of this match, in my opinion. Devlin tries to Devlin side, but his arm gives out with Kushida working on his arm earlier in the match. Legato then hits the ring and distracts Devlin long enough for Kushida to lock in a flying armbar from the top rope, and then off the top rope and landing into the middle of the ring. Devlin gets to the bottom rope, but Mendoza and Wilde pull him out of the ring. And then before they could go on the attack, Devlin slides back in the ring. Kushida handspring attacks both of them off the apron. Devlin rolls up Kushida for a win. Devlin rolls up Kushida for the win. Jordan Devlin defeats Kushida in a really good match. And then after the match, Kushida then goes nuts and he takes out Mendoza and Wilde on the outside near the NXT stage. Devlin and Escobar then stare at each other in the ring. Shawn Michaels' music then hits, and Shawn Michaels coming out. I don't think anyone expected this whatsoever. So Shawn Michaels comes out, his music hits. Shawn Michaels shimmies down the ramp and he pulls out a ladder from underneath the ring. Shawn Michaels tips his hat to Devlin and Escobar. After Shawn then puts the ladder inside the ring. After he slides underneath the bottom rope and slides it into the middle of the ring. Devlin and Escobar then both look at the ladder, and then they stare, and then they both look at each other and they have a stare down. And for Takeover, Stand and Deliver. And one of the matches confirmed. And one of the matches confirmed for night 2, NXT Takeover, Stand and Deliver. Ladder match for the undisputed NXT Cruiserweight Championship. Santos Escobar versus Jordan Devlin. This is going to be a very good match. I am looking forward to this for night 2 Takeover, Stand and Deliver. This match is going to be fucking great. I'm looking forward to this. And first time NXT and NXT Cruiserweight Championship, first time defended at a Takeover, and first time defending a ladder match. I don't think any of that's happened before. So this is a very big deal right here, in my opinion. And Devlin and Escobar, they were gonna have a good match at Takeover, Stand and Deliver, regardless. They were gonna have a good match regardless. But now they're definitely gonna have a good match at Takeover, Stand and Deliver night 2. Now that it's a ladder match, but shades of WrestleMania 10 in Madison Square Garden, New York City. Madison Square Garden, New York City. That ladder match for the undisputed Intercontinental Championship. Razor Ramon versus Shawn Michaels. Shades of that with Devlin and Escobar. Takeover, Stand and Deliver night 2. It's going to be great. And I'm really looking forward to this, man. I expect Devlin to beat Escobar. But this match, Devlin Escobar Takeover night 2, this is going to be really great now that it's ladder match. I'm looking forward to this, man. I really am. It's going to be good. And then we go to the final segment of the show at NXT last week. On the stage, Regal has a table that is surrounded by security. Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly are seated at opposite ends. Regal says he has a contract for a match. Once they both sign, they will have to agree that NXT isn't liable or responsible for anything that happens in the match to them. Regal says this will be an unsanctioned match. Cole says he realized that the Undisputed Era was holding him back. It was O'Reilly who showed him that. O'Reilly failed at winning the title. O'Reilly had the nerve to try to have Balor join them. Cole says he is the best, and he takes a backseat to no one. Adam Cole says he was the Undisputed Era. Without him, Undisputed Era is nothing. O'Reilly's nothing. Cole signs a contract, and then before O'Reilly signs, he said he grew up and decided to take accountability for his actions. Cole never did that. That's the problem. Cole's just the same asshole who walked into NXT years ago. O'Reilly says he's going to sleep like a baby after he destroys Cole. Cole then tells O'Reilly to sign the contract. Cole then says it's O'Reilly's death warrant. O'Reilly chucks the pen at Cole then afterwards, and then security holds both men back to close NXT from last week. This ending was fucking great. This ending was awesome. When you watch the ending segment of NXT last week, how do you sit there and say at this point, oh, Adam Cole's not world title material on the main roster? At this point, how do you sit there and say that? Adam Cole has WrestleMania main eventer and WWE Championship material written all over him. And Adam Cole, he has WWE Championship and WrestleMania main eventer written all over him as Adam Cole. And this ending segment of NXT last week show that. You don't see that, I don't know what does. At this point, you look at Adam Cole. How do you fuck him up at this point? How? Really good ending with NXT last week. Really, really good stuff. And Cole and O'Reilly, that match for Takeover Stand Deliver Night 2, I'm looking forward to that match too. For Cole and O'Reilly at Takeover, I'm looking forward to that match too. That should be really good. Though O'Reilly and Cole, I would not have that main event. I would not have that main event night. I would not have that main event night 2 for Takeover Stand Deliver, in my opinion. But and I would have Cross and Balor main event night 2. But Cole and O'Reilly should be a really good match at Takeover Stand Deliver, nonetheless, in my opinion. Really good ending to NXT last week, and a good and definitely a good NXT from last week. NXT last week was a good show. And now we'll get to the AEW. NXT last week was a good show. And then we'll get to the AEW portion right away. We won't talk so long because it's 7:44 and I don't want to talk so long. I want to get this done on time before 8 p.m. tonight. But anyways, Dynamite last week. Good show. Though I thought NXT was better last week from a week ago, but AEW last week was a good show nonetheless. AEW last week was a good show as well. And AEW last week starts off with Kenny Omega versus Matt Sydal, an AEW World Title Eliminator match. The two trade trash talk with each other before trading headlocks and arm wrenches. Test the strength. We had Matt Sydal going for a Meteora. Kenny Omega catches him with a power bomb. Driving knee strike from Kenny. Kenny hits the V trigger. Goes for a one-winged angel, just Kenny, but Matt reverses. Reverses with a Rana. Matt climbs up for a shooting star press, but Kenny crotches him. V trigger again. V trigger knee strike. Matt Sydal gets set up for the one-winged angel, but he rolls Kenny for another pin attempt, another V trigger, and then Kenny successfully hits the one-winged angel for the win. Kenny Omega defeats Matt Sydal. Good match here. Good match. Matt Sydal winning would have been silly, and Omega winning was the right move. And a good match to start Dynamite from last week. This was really good. And Omega, sooner rather than later, he'll be the champion for Dynamite and for Impact. That is happening sooner rather than later. Mark my words. Mark my words. Kenny Omega beats Matt Sydal in a good opener. And let me go. And then Alex Marvis is done with John Silver, the Dark Order. John's ready and shows how he's able to avoid coffin drops by avoid trust falls. Hangman Page then wishes Silver good luck. And John is definitely hungry. And then we get the next match. Cesar Bononi versus Hangman Page. Not bad of a match, but nothing too special here. Hangman Page wins with the buckshot lariat for the win. Hangman Page defeats Cesar Bononi. And then we get a segment with earlier today with Lance Archer saying he looked up to Sting. Everybody has, without Sting, there is no Lance Archer. Lance Archer then says that people are going to be remembering his name and the surest thing that soon it is going to be showtime, quote unquote, says Lance Archer about Sting. So Sting versus Lance Archer, it looks like that's going to be in the future and for AEW, but should be good. And I expect Lance Archer to go over, man. That's going to be really good in the future, man, with Sting and Lance Archer. Should be good. Let me know what you guys think on that. Should be good stuff in my opinion. And then we got thing with Britt Baker. She says she's not pleased with the reaction she gets from Jacksonville. Thunder Rosa should forever be thanking her for the history she got to be a part of. She had the audacity to stand here in her company, her division, and say that she put them on the map. She doesn't need adulation. Britt Baker then calls out Mick Foley and says, "Thanks for the thumbs up, but it took Mick Foley himself 20 years to become a hardcore legend, where Britt Baker's where she did it in one night," says Britt Baker. Britt Baker then says that Tony Khan is always searching for legends when he has one right here. The letters AEW pale in comparison to the three biggest letters in pro wrestling, DMD. And that was that. Really good promo from Britt Baker. She's coming a really long way. She really is. And Britt Baker, man, I expect her to be the women's champ for AEW. Sometime this year, she'll be the women's champion for AEW. She will be. Mark my words, is Britt Baker. Mark my words. Really good promo right here from Britt Baker. And she's coming a long way, and Britt Baker's only gonna get better. She's only gonna get better. Really good, very good promo here from Britt Baker. And then we get Christian shown. He's chatting with Dante Martin and the Varsity Blondes. Dasha approaches him and says he's giving a few tag teams advice. And then it enters a patronizing Kazarian. Very aggressively asks when the work part out of everyone is going to happen. Christian then says that next week, and he doesn't have an opponent. How about you, Frankie? Kazarian accepts and invites him to watch Elevation next week. So the match was set for next week's Dynamite, which is tonight's Dynamite, for one of the matches for Dynamite tonight. Christian versus Kazarian, which should be good. Hopefully it's good. Let me get the next match of the night. FTR and Shawn Spears at the Pinnacle with Tully Blanchard versus the Varsity Blondes and Dante Martin. This is pretty much a squash with Spears hitting a C4 DVD for the victory. And then after the match, Pinnacle then takes it to Pillman post-match. Cash gets a mic and says Pinnacle is his family. Daxon forces Tony to hold the mic, and he talks trash to Santana and Ortiz. And then we get so then we get that. That was that. Then MJF then begins to run down Jericho and challenges them to come out. Swanee takes exception, but MJF forces him into silence. And then that was that. Good promo here from Pinnacle, and should be good food, hopefully, with Pinnacle and Inner Circle. And then we get Team Taz backstage. Taz makes it certain that all is clear between them. Cage actually apologized to Team Taz and apologized to Ricky Starks for singling him out last week. Cage doesn't exactly look on the same page with them, although everybody says that they are. Ricky says absolutely. Cage just says, "Who better?" And that was that. Tony Schiavone is then standing with QT Marshall. He knows he called Cody's friend, and sure, it does come with perks, but he works his ass off. Fans soon start chanting Cody's friend. He says he is, but he issues a challenge to Cody next week. He doesn't have any control of what can happen, but he can control what he can do. He doesn't want to take any necessary bumps, but if he has to prove himself against Cody, out comes Cody Rhodes in a sling. He will commend QT. He will take him, and he'll even appoint Arn Anderson as a referee. He does make one thing clear: he won't hurt him. Friend to friend, QT thanks him. That's all he wanted. So then we get the next week with AEW, which is actually AEW tonight. Another match for AEW tonight. Cody Rhodes versus QT Marshall, or something like that. Cody Rhodes is going to be a father soon, so I expect him to be written off television, probably by Pentagon Jr. pretty soon. Probably soonest tonight, but that's all I got to say on that. So that was made official for one of the matches for Dynamite for 2 nights. Dynamite from last week. And we get the next match on the show. Next match on the show from Dynamite a week ago. Lucha Bros and Laredo Kid versus the Young Bucks and Brandon Cutler. We had a good match here. Lucha Bros and Laredo Kid win this thing after Laredo Kid hits a beautiful Spanish fly from the top rope onto Brandon Cutler. Love the Spanish fly, man. One of my favorite moves ever in current pro wrestling. Thing of beauty. He had really good Spanish fly from Laredo Kid. And I remember Laredo Kid. I remember watching Laredo Kid, man. I remember watching him at TNA. He was impressive. And I've also watched them live in the Northeast Wrestling, the Indies too. The Laredo Kid is very talented. Very, very talented. And hopefully he does well in AEW, and a good match here. Good 6-man tag with Lucha Bros and Laredo Kid. All 6 of these guys look good. Young Bucks look good. Brandon Cutler look good, and Lucha Bros look good, and Laredo Kid look good. I expect things in the future for AEW for Laredo Kid. Then we got post-match. Kenny Omega comes charging out and he attacks Laredo Kid. Kenny cuts a promo starting that he recalls all these men at Fyter Fest. He recalls 3 years ago that when he called these men his family, he had a choice. Where did he choose? He never chose AEW. He chose the Young Bucks, who chose to make this the best wrestling promotion on the planet. And then the Young Bucks are in the ring with Kenny. The Young Bucks in the ring. The Young Bucks walk away from Kenny and says, "We're done." Lucha Bros then super kick Kenny. Don Callis walks out hardly as Kenny is laid out with a bloody mouth. The Good Brothers then come out to tend to Kenny, and then that was that. Young Bucks and Good Brothers, I expect them to be the next upcoming feud for the AEW Tag Team titles in the future for Dynamite. Expect it to happen. Should be good, and see where it goes as well. But it's a good segment here with Kenny and the Bucks. Really good stuff. And then we got Jade Cargill then calling out Red Velvet that she's just a pit stop on her journey. She's gonna get mixed up with the she's gonna get mixed up with that bitch. And then we get Eddie Kingston and Jon Moxley in a dressing room. Eddie has a broken something on his left foot. Eddie's not pleased, and Mox asks if the Good Brothers are ready to get blood under their fingernails like they are. Mox doesn't know the Young Bucks, but he guesses after last week he owes them one. He doesn't like owing anybody anything, but they better be willing to get their hands dirty. And then we get the next match. Nyla Rose with Vicky Guerrero versus Tay Conti. Tay Conti actually wins this match after a hammerlock DDT. This is a good match here. Tay Conti, man, getting better and better each week. And Tay Conti did not expect her to win, and she got a big win, and I'm happy for Tanera Conti, man. She's gotten a lot better. She's getting better every week, and she's going to only get better each week, still continuing as well. And a decent women's match here last week on Dynamite with Tay Conti and Nyla Rose. Then we get post-match, Vicky grabbing the leg of Tay Conti and helps Nyla set Conti up for a beast bomb, but Hikaru Shida comes out, makes the save, and hits her with a kendo. Comes out and hits Nyla Rose with a kendo stick. She attacks Nyla, but the bunny comes out as Matt Hardy, the Butcher, and the Blade walks out. Matt Hardy gets a mic and he says the women's eliminator tournament was terrible because the bunny wasn't in it. His claims have been overlooked, but not anymore. Let me see promos of Arcade Anarchy between Orange Cassidy and Chuck T versus Miro and Kip Sabian. Then an intense Scorpio Sky promotes his match against Mike Seidel next week on Elevation. And then we get the main event, the TNT title match, John Silver and Darby Allin. Really, really good match here, man. Really, really good match. Darby Allin, we had Silver nailing Darby with a super burning hammer, but for the pin attempt, but he wrenches too far back on the pin, and Darby's foot is on the ropes. Silver goes to pay homage to Brody Lee with the Brody Bomb. God rest his soul, Brody Lee. Still miss Brody Lee, man. Still went way too soon. Darby reverses the Brody Bomb into a code red, the 1-2-3 to retain the title. Winner and still the TNT champion, Darby Allin. Then we get the post match with Darby and Silver. Fist pound with Sting in the ring as well. But then Matt Hardy pulls Darby out of the ring, begins to attack. Hardy's Empire and the babyfaces brawl out as Darby dives onto Matt, and the show ends in a big brawl. Not a fan of the brawls, man. I'm really not, but this was a good match in the main event here for the TNT title. Good match with Darby Allin and John Silver. Really, really good match here. And Darby Allin retaining was the right move. And John Silver looked good in defeat. I heard John Silver's injured with an injured shoulder. Hopefully it's not too serious, but if it's serious, man, hopefully John Silver comes back soon with a speedy recovery. And John Silver's injury, hopefully it's not that serious. And that was that. Matt Hardy the next night for Darby Allin for the TNT title. Probably, and Matt will most likely put Darby Allin over, and looks like that's where they're headed. And I think that's decent, and I think Matt will put him over. Matt will put Darby Allin over. And that was that. And overall, Dynamite last week, a good show. And then Dynamite goes off the air with Dynamite from last week. And overall, Dynamite from a week ago, a good show, just like NXT from last week as well. And that is that with the review video for AEW and NXT from last week. And that is that. Follow me on Twitter at FioriNick579. Follow me on Instagram at NicholasFiori2014. And follow me on Facebook at Nicholas_Fiori31. And make sure to hit the like button on the video, hit the subscribe button as well. Hit the bell for all notifications. And that is that. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm Nick Fiori, Fiori Station YouTube channel. I'm getting the hell out of here right now. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Hope you liked the video. And hopefully you had a good time with the video. And I will see you next time. Right here on the channel for more good content right here on the channel. Thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for joining me right here on the channel. And I will talk to you guys later. Thank you. Thank you guys so much for joining. Hope you guys enjoyed the video and all. And I will talk to you guys later.